Hi guys, happy hump day. So we had a weird weather week here in San Diego from summer days to hurricane, which was more of a tropical storm. We really didn't get hit that hard. Back to summer days. Um, Crazy. Uh, I know Charles is in the house here. Charles, saw your graveyard, by the way, my friend. It's looking good. And again, thanks you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. I think tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the turret. Now the hull is where we were last week, but there's a bunch of fiddly bits that I'm just going to put on off camera. And I want to move on to the turret, get as much of the turret done tonight as I can. And then I will finish the turret up, whatever I don't finish offline, so that next week I should have everything pretty much assembled so we can start painting this bad boy. Charles says, good evening. I gave a hi, everyone. Charles says, weird, something weird in Kelly. Yeah, just a little bit, boss, just a little bit. You'd know that, right? Anyway. Okay, so let's jump into this. Like I said, I like to keep these to about an hour, so it's not too long. So you'll see here, it basically it's got this part of the turret, and it's got some instructions to drill out some holes. I actually have some pin drills. I bought like a pack of 5 or 10 of these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. These were not that expensive. Now, I don't know the color codes to the size of the drill, but and I've already snapped one of them on another project, but it's nice to have these. So we'll use one that's probably in the middle, and if I need to make the holes larger, we'll just go back and re-drill them. So it starts off, let's go ahead and get the main part of the turret detached and cleaned up. Yeah, I'm hoping, like I said, that I can get to painting next week. I did change the blade on the X-Acto, so we've got a nice new sharp blade here. Oh my God, you can I can tell the difference. It just cuts so much easier. Hopefully everybody can see that just fine. Okay, easy peasy. Now, let's see, next part is the 2-pound gun. We're going to need this bit here. Of course, I went through and I found all the parts I needed, and now I've forgotten where they are on the sprue. There it is. Because I'm old. Charles says, drills, yeah, something I should get someday. Oh, great. So I just got an alert that my battery on my mouse is down to 3%. So let me just real quick run and grab a battery and shove one in here. Hold on, guys. So I keep rechargeable batteries because I use so many of them with my mice that this is not an uncommon problem that I have. So again, sorry for this inconvenience, but we don't need the mouse dying on us. There we go. Okay, mouse change, cat in the way, move it, little girl. Thank you. Let go of my shirt. There we go. Okay, we're back, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's get the gun itself snipped off here. Get it cleaned up. Oh, and now her sister shows up. Because obviously there must be something to look at. They were both napping, and I thought I might be able to get the show in with them sleeping, but it's not to be. Okay, so the way this shows is I've got this back piece. Let's go ahead and clean up where I snipped it. Now I'm debating on whether I want this to be movable or not. A lot of times I just glue these down. I don't typically have them do a lot of moving, but we'll decide what we're going to do here in just a second. Okay. So as I look at this, yeah, this is going to go in like that. There's the machine gun. They have that shown on the instructions right here to paint it. I'm not going to paint it right now. I got a little nib right there. Let's go ahead and, before I glue that in, although it's already seated, I want to go ahead and I'll file that off. So let's just go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and glue this in, file that down. Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are. They're my babies. Oh, I love my cats. Okay, easy. We'll give that a second to dry. And then I'll file that before we go much further. Let's go ahead and clean up this barrel. There's a little bit of, again, having a sharp blade makes such a difference. Oh, yeah, let's just use this one. Yeah, as far as the drills go, Charles, like I said, it wasn't, these were not that expensive. I want to say under $15. And I got like 5 packs of 10 drills or something crazy like that. They're really inexpensive. Now it's just the bits, but because they're kind of the micro drills, I don't really need them to fit into any drill holder. So that's not as clean as I would have liked it, to be honest. Let's get this on camera here. Yeah, right there's a little imperfection. I'll go back and rework that. What I'll do is when I glue this in, I'm going to try to put that on the, that's a little better. Try to put that on the bottom to hide it, since I can rotate this however I want. So it looks like this just slides right in here. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Okay. Let's get a little glue in there. Okay, that should work. Okay. Got a little buildup there. So if you ever do that and put a little too much glue, one of the tricks, if I've got a napkin out, which I only do, so give me a second, I am going to take a napkin and just hold it along where that glue is, just to wick up any of the excess. Like so. Because I think when I put it down in the hole and I put the barrel in, some of it pushed up. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a little bit cleaner, which is nice. Okay. So we've got that piece done. This is where we get to whether or not this is going to be movable. I mean, the gun's just going to go up or down. Also, it's getting lazy and old. He won't even take a hard biscuit unless I break it into pieces. Hey, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Who wants to eat a hard biscuit? Not I. Okay, so let's go ahead and, again, just knock that down with the file. A lot of these little burrs are easy enough. You don't need to be heavy-handed. I can go back now on the back side of this. And again, it doesn't take much. I wanted to give that glue a chance to set before I started filing, but as you can see, or as you'll see in a second, yeah, easy. I'm not worried about the grit's probably a little heavy for this, but it's not going to be seen, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so it does say to use these poly caps to put inside here to make this again rotate, and I need C 35 and 37. Let's find those right here. These two bits. Let's go ahead and snip them off. Okay, and then we'll clean those up. I guess it won't hurt to go ahead and put the poly caps on. If I don't like it, I can always glue it down later. Plus, again, going back to one of my goals is to get my skill level up. And so doing things like this will help when I want to try hard on a more complex model than this. So having the ability to, the comfort to do some of these little fiddly things is going to make a difference. So it's part of the journey. So we're going to go ahead and do it here. Like I said, if I don't care for it when I'm done, I can just take and glue it down then. Okay, so we're going to put the poly caps on either side. Looks like I got a little excess. We'll see if that's, yeah, you see, a little excess there. This side is not quite as bad. Okay, I'll go ahead and squeeze those down. And which side goes where, because these are actually different. So it looks like this one goes here. And then this is going to slide into here. So let's go ahead and put that on as such. At this point, I'm not going to glue anything. And this is going to go how? Looks like it wants to go this way. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'll take that poly cap off. It actually shows the poly cap on one side, not both. Okay. So now this is going to go like so. Okay. I think so. And this is going to slide over. And I got to figure out which is the top. That looks to be correct. Okay, so that can glue there, that can glue there, and then this does move. Okay. So easy peasy on that. Once I glue that down, those should rotate. Now, again, if something happens and they don't, I'm not going to sweat it. There we go. I just need to make sure I think I've got this upside down, actually. Let's rotate that around. Oop, 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 oop. Stay on there. Okay. This thing is almost symmetrical, but I have a sense that it's not. Although I can't tell. Great, and you know what's going to happen. Charles says, later when the light is right, I'll do another video over everything and review and determine what's okay and what. Yeah, your graveyard was looking good, boss. I knew what you were talking about. Yeah, it's looking good, though. Okay, so Now you know what's going to happen. This is not going to be symmetrical. I'm going to glue it, and then I'm going to say I have it upside down. Let me check if there's some pins. It looks like they're okay. Let's take a look from the inside here. Yeah, looks like those pins go on the top. Okay, so that's how it goes. Okay, with that in mind, we are now going to commit. Oh, a little glue there. And a little glue here. Now, if I put too much on and this doesn't rotate, then it's not going to rotate. It's going to be that simple. So let's at least rotate the gun up so it's got a little elevation on it. Okay. So I think that's going to be good for now. And then that will, so let's set it out aside. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the turret ring and get it prepped and ready to go, as we're going to be putting the turret on it here shortly. So I'm digging your build on your biplane there, Nagawa. It's looking good as well. How you liking it? You having fun doing it? It looks like you are. Okay. So I may have gotten rid of a bump that I needed. Yeah. Oh, well. The glue will still go in. Okay, so what we've got here. Yeah, that's going to go on the front. Like so. I'll go ahead and glue that. And then this will slide up in here. Like so. Again, dry fit. Okay. Why is that not setting right? Okay, I've got that nub there. I may just have to cut that off. Yeah, that nub right there, I don't see how that is helping. So let's just go ahead and if it was for placement, it's not the end of the world. Again, I can place this and get it glued without much problem. Okay, let's go ahead and flatten that. Okay, let's see where we are now, guys. Yeah, that sets much easier. Okay, so the trick is, yeah, there's a little bump there, so that's got to come off. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. That's part of the process. That's why we start with the cheap kits, right? I mean, that's why I was doing some 1/72 scale aircraft and this 1/48 scale tank before I go spend some big money on some nice kits. I have so much there's so many little skills and tools you need to collect in doing this. It just takes some time. And I'm not in a big rush. Okay, oh, look at that. Fits so much nicer. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that was the correct thing to do, is to get those nubs off of there. They weren't pinning anything. So the next question is, do I glue this in first? Or, yeah, it looks like it doesn't matter. Okay, that's the right answer. And yeah, that's going to end up being glued down, so that's not going to move. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the bottom on first. Then we'll go ahead and put the gun in. Now, a couple of times that I'm swiping, I'm going onto the turret with my brush. But again, you just let that dry. If you get a little extra glue where you don't need it. Yeah, I'm with you. Even though this is a 148, what I haven't put on the channel is I've built a couple of tanks, 1/72nd scale tanks. And I wanted to do a Matilda. I couldn't. Okay, let me rephrase that. I was at the hobby store and I did not see a 1/72nd scale Matilda. I saw the 148 scale, so I'm partially guilty of impulse buying. I'm sure I'm the only one who does that. But it's 148 scale, so I wasn't overly concerned. And I think it was less than $20 for the kit. I'll have to go back and look, but I know it wasn't like a $40 or $50 kit. I'm waiting until I get much better. I get a compressor for the air gun. Okay, so the gun's going to end up with a slight elevation. That's just, unless I can force this down now, I don't want to break it, but that's fine. Okay. So a fail on getting the poly cap to set properly. Let's see, I can maybe force this at a different angle here. Yeah, there we go. Just a little down. Nice. Okay. So there's the interior. There's not much to detail. I'm going to do a whole video that I'll do offline on the Commander. And when it comes to assembling and painting him. Oh, nice. So 3 different manufacturers. Yeah, I've got some, well, when I get to it, you'll see, but there's one manufacturer that it's fairly well known. They have quite a bit of flashing on their kits, which I don't really worry about too much because, again, I'm not paying a ton of money for those. But if I was, I might be a bit more concerned. So what do we got here? We've done that. It does show A18. So that's not A. Let me pull up my A sprue. This bit right here. Okay, there's 2 of them. Let me get the other one. Yeah, and I'm still on the fence on how I'm going to paint this, historic or World of Tanks style. I'm halfway leaning to World of Tanks. That way I can practice my painting without beating myself up over it not being historically accurate, because I do that. I'm not worried about somebody else complaining or criticizing it. I mean, they're entitled to it. And I've got a thick skin when it comes to what other people think, but I'm really hard on myself. So I'm leaning towards giving myself a little bit of a leeway by doing a non-historic color scheme. Okay, so what do we have here? Looks like there's a couple of spots. Okay, see there's a couple of notches there, which I think these go sit right in. Let me try this. These are the same part on 2 different sprues, so it should, yeah, it's not going in. Those 2 notches are not lining up. Let me double check. No, it's not anywhere close. So now the question becomes, oh, it looks like it goes on the inside. Maybe like that. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm struggling to figure out exactly how this goes. I don't know if it goes completely like that. Okay. So here's what I've got, guys. This is for the hatch, and it's this part and this part, and you can tell it looks like it's going underneath the lip, and you see the hatch. So let me get the hatch halves, kind of dry fit everything, and see if I can figure out exactly where that's supposed to sit, because it's not obvious to me at the moment. Okay. So clearly these are wider. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just trim those back. Easy peasy. And do the same thing here. And this one. Okay. So we are going to have the hatch open because I want to have the commander. Like I said, I want to paint him up. And there's this one and this one. This one appears to be on the back, and it's going to go. Yeah. So you can see those notches line up with that part of the hull. So I still have to clean these up a little bit, but when that's open, those are going to sit right in there. Nice. Okay. I'll go ahead and just give that a quick file on both of those. Very good. Okay. And then what we're going to end up with, again, are these little interior bits. They are the hydraulics for the hatch. And on the inside, yeah, there's a spot to put them. Oh, great. I'm sweating a little and the instructions are sticking to my arm. How nice. Okay, so one of the things I can do is use that. You see there's that. See that kind of gap area, which is what's going to go in here. So part of me just wants to go ahead and glue these onto the hatch because I've got registration points. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me double check this one. Yeah, it's got registration pins as well. So let's do it that way. Change the sequence a little from the instructions to something that's going to be a little bit easier for me, a little clearer to understand how I'm going to do this. So I can just put a couple of dots of glue down here, go ahead and glue that, and then I'll have that gap, so then I can put that inside the hatch. Okay. So, and again, I should have grabbed my tweezers. This would have been perfect for them. All right, let's go ahead and glue these down. I'll do one at a time. Yeah, so don't be afraid to assemble things in a different sequence. As long as you've read the instructions and believe that you have a good understanding of the sequence. I mean, it's nice to stay to the sequence, but it's not a requirement. Sometimes it's okay to vary. And the reason I'm doing it here is to make sure that I get these pistons placed properly. And the only real point of reference I have are the two dots that are on the inside of the hull, or the hatch itself. And so because of that, and maybe there's something I'm not seeing, I've decided to do it this way. Okay. Now I'm just trying to take my time and make sure I do get these lined up. I mean, that's the whole point of doing this, is to get these registration pins kind of in the right place. It's a little fiddly. Oh, come on, come on. We're almost there. The first one went in pretty, oh, there, I just had it. Just had it where I wanted it. I think that's good. Now let's just... Okay, I think I can live with that. Although it doesn't, my eyes tell me it's slightly off. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's just push it over a little bit. Okay, that looks good. This one went in easy peasy because it looks like the shaft is slightly on the inside of the posts. You can't see that, but let me get this up here a little bit. Show you what I'm talking about real quick. So you see here, oh, can I turn it? Yeah. So if you see what I'm talking about here, this post and that post, the shafts are just slightly on the inside on both sides. I think that's critical. Okay. So we'll let that dry. I did the same thing here, got it lined up. We'll figure out how to do this, guys. But there, you can see both of those shafts are on the inside. Right. There's the hatch on the outside right here. And there's our shaft on the inside. I don't know what it's like. I would imagine a World War I tank had a little more room than modern tanks, simply because the silhouette probably wasn't an issue. And as they, one of the things that I think the Germans had the low profiles. I know that some of the Russian tanks, at least now modern day tanks, have some low profiles to them. And that was kind of a thing. But in World War I, they were still learning what worked and what didn't work. And they had a different job, right? They were about getting over the trenches and basically, I'm going to overstate this, but become a machine gun platform. Oh, you said modern to World War II. I just assume, again, with it, when you talk about a war, it's always World War I. I probably should read. Charles says, but it's nicer to work in. Probably. I mean, it's not about creature comforts for the most part. I mean, these are fighting vehicles. But I'm sure to some degree that they try to make them as comfortable as they can as a secondary concern. Okay, so that looks good. I think I've got these aligned. So let's just go ahead, and this is part of this particular part of the assembly. So go ahead and glue these in. So let's go ahead and do that now. And this should set where I wanted it. Let's make sure we get the right side of the hatch. So it looks like this one goes in the back, because it's got like a flat metal plate, not the. So what you saw earlier, bingo, that goes right in there like so. Yeah, I think I did it. The assembly I did, I think, was the right approach because that's now going in nice. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue on that part so we get good connection. Let's rotate that around, do the same thing on the front. There we go. Now I kind of want that a little more open like so. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the glue down in there, and then we can kind of shape it, as it were. Okay. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. I actually am going to get a couple of World War I tanks. I just think that there's something nostalgic and cool about them. Maybe it's the innocence of the whole thing, and where the concept was of getting across the trenches. Okay, so this is what I got. That doesn't look bad, and you can see how those went in to give you the pistons for those hatches. And I think there we go. Yeah. Okay. So just real quick, I am going to let's take the torso of our commander. I just want to kind of slide it in there just to kind of see what it looks like. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on just the assembly and painting. It's got 2 arms and a head. All right, there's not a lot to it. The legs are kind of cut off because obviously it goes into inside the. You don't need all the, you don't need all that underneath. All right, but I want to just kind of give this a. Oh yeah, plenty of room. Okay, so there's not going to be any issues there. Okay, so next thing we got. Oh, we got 38 minutes. Okay, we're doing good on time. We'll go ahead and start putting some of the stowage on the side here. Now, when I get into doing a little more of the advanced stuff, then I'll definitely get into customization and creating my own, sculpting my own stowage and those types of things, because that's just fun, quite honestly. But for now, we're just going to do a basic straight build out of the kit. It doesn't mean if I get a wild hair up my butt, I might not try to do something. But as it stands now, I'm going to try to keep it pretty much a generic build right out of the box. There's a little bit of flashing on this. Not a fan of flashing, but I can knock that off. I'd rather have it lose a little detail than have the flashing on there. That, for me anyway, it just blows the whole illusion when you can see a big seam line that your eye knows doesn't belong there. Yeah, 148 is it's in between. 135th scale is pretty much the go-to, I would imagine. But this was slightly an impulse buy because I did want a Matilda, and again, the price was right for where I'm at in my building. So I was very pleased with that. And Charles says Russians use autoloader. Trouble is the ready ammo is more explosive. I believe I have heard. That's why you see Russian turrets popping off. I don't know if he's talking about modern. I know I like playing the autoloaders in World of Tanks. Although that doesn't cause my top to pop. Although I did have that happen the other day. Somebody shot me and I got ammo racked, and it's always fun in the game when you see that animation go off. Even when it happens to you, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of cool. Because we like explosions, right? Okay, so these two, looks like one goes on top of the other. Now this might be where I need to drill holes, but I see that there is a mounting point. Oh, I got it. So it's going to go on this side. Fat fingers. Oh, Charles says modern. Okay. So interesting. I think this is where it's got the holes, which I didn't drill prior. And they don't seem to line up with that. Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and glue that on like so. That will work. But we're going to do it from the point of putting the glue on the bags. And then fiddle it around, let it set, and then add some additional glue to give it a good bond. That's my plan, anyway. Okay. Again, I'm not sure you could do this wrong. Of course, if you could, I will. Looks like it does go down a little bit here when I look at the drawing. Okay. I'll just double check. Yeah, it's got one slot there, one. So that's about where it goes. Nice. And then this just sits on top. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Get a little glue in there. Again, there's nothing here that can be wrong as long as you kind of get it on there. I had a VIC-20. That was one of my first computers, dude. Now you're aging yourself. Big time. Big time. A15. Let's go find that bit. Is this my A? It is. 15. There we go. Now, is this some... Shows it on one side. I'm not sure this latch goes on the other. There we go. Nice. Let's just check real quick and see if there's one on the other side. Yeah, it looks like it's on both sides. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab the other one. And then obviously I'm holding it, or maybe it's not obvious, but I was holding it in my fingers so that when I snipped it, it didn't go flying across the room, which these small parts, if that happens, chances of finding it are very minimal. Okay. So those are going to go facing up. Let's get the location. Okay, yeah. It was right there. Ooh, way too much glue. Way too much. So this is where tweezers would be really nice. Okay, so I'm going to kind of fake it. I'm going to try putting the X-Acto knife in the hole. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to drop that in place and pull it back. There we go, because that's not flush. There's a slight bend to it. And then I will come back when this dries and clean that little nub off. I thought I filed them. but I can get it once that's dry. I can get the X-Acto knife in there and easily take care of that. And the other one's going to go right into that little spot right there. Let's just put a little dab of glue. Again, we're going to try using our knife to hold the bit, and there we go. Now we can move it positionally. Nice. Oh, I had it and had to fiddle with it because that's what I do. Okay. There we go. All right. Again, fiddly bits. So we're actually, this would be step 19 of the 20 steps, right? So once we get some of the small stuff on the turret, I'm going to go back and finish up with the parts on the hull. Then we should have both the hull and the turret done. And then it's just, and then I've got the commander here, which again, 2 separate arms, the head and the torso, which you just saw. But I'm going to do that as a separate video. I'm reading notes. I apologize. Arcade version of it. Oh, he's talking about Battlezone. What does he say here? Actually, tomorrow, minis next week. Okay. Eyeglasses missing again. Yeah, well, sometimes you need that with these kits. I can only imagine some of this detail wouldn't be in a 1/72 scale. Okay, so there's a few boxes, cargo, grenade or smoke launchers, and again, some fiddly bits to go on here. And let's just see. I'll show you where we are with the hull. Again, there's still some parts to go on. So while this is drying, well, yeah, that goes on nice. So here's where we are as of now. It's starting to look pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work on getting the rest of these bits on. We'll stay on for a little bit longer here. What do we got? Let's start with C6. Okay, C6. Again, these are going to be fiddly. It's just the way it is. That's the A screw. Let's go pull out our C screw. What are we looking for again? C6. Right here. Yeah, I think that needs to be cleaned off. I'm going to go ahead and file that flat. Not too much pressure. If I ever see a 1/16 World War I not silly expensive, I'll buy and pretend I will do it someday. Yeah, sometimes it's just about acquiring the toys, right? So I'm not sure Wingnuts still makes kits, and they are considered top quality, and they are expensive. I don't think they make 1/72 scale. I think they're 148 which is pretty common, 1/32 or 148 scale in aircraft. Okay, so this appears to go with the plate on the inside, and looks like it goes in that hole right there, which I sanded that off. But it's going to go standing up like that. Again, next week, well, it probably won't happen on this build. Tweezers would have been nice. Problem is that, well, it's not, there's not a problem. I have them. I just, it's too lazy to go get them. So no excuses, just lazy. Okay. That looks good, but let's not fall over or get distorted. That's going to be the trick here. Let's kind of line that up, flatten it out. Oh, that's almost perfect. Okay. Let's just leave that alone. Let that set. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on that just to make sure. Okay. There. So we do have a headlight, which was on the other page. That's the one part that I did miss off this page. Okay. C20 and C50. So that's the lamp and the headlight. There's C20 and C50. Okay. Yeah, be careful I don't snip that in the wrong location. Looks like it's got. See, now this, I guess this is there if you want to put a clear piece in as opposed to this piece. But they could have just made this solid and I would not have complained at all. Okay, let me see how that needs to be. Yeah, I think that needs to be flat. Okay. So what I've got is, you see that's just not smooth. So I'm going to just, again, I've got a brand new X-Acto. So, that's fine. Do it from the back side. There we go. Done. So this lens gets glued inside here. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's yeah. It's a kit, right? They want to give you stuff to do. I'm just gonna do like so. Easy peasy. Now, let's make sure that that's relatively flat. Probably do it from this side. Just press it. Yeah, that worked. Okay. Now, I've got a little bit of glue. You see it's kind of hairy. So when this dries, that's when I'll go back with a really fine file. One of these. I've got some really fine ones. And I'll just knock that little bit of that glue once it dries down. You won't even notice it. Okay. So next part is that wants to go in this little notch right here. And okay, I'll look at the orientation on the drawing. Whoa, that's a bit much on the glue. That's going to go in like so. Let's just push that down a little bit. There we go. Let's just double check that. Yeah, you can see there, that's a little fuzzy, but that'll get cleaned up before I paint it. Okay. Again, we're going to let this dry. So because, again, we're dealing with fiddly bits, we want to make sure that we're not touching it too much. I got a 1/35 scale Stug 5, not ready for that. You know, I've got something that Warmutt sent me. That's 1/35 scale. It was some limited edition kit, Came with a display case. I'm not going to put it in the display case, but I've been holding off on that until I get my skills up a little bit. Trying to keep up with what they're talking about. Sorry, guys. I'm thinking Stuka. Yeah. Stug and Stuka. Okay, I can see that. T-34. I like the T-34. Churchill Mark III. Okay, you've got a few there, Charles. And yeah, I love the Stukas. At some point, I'll build a Stuka. Yeah, that's it. How do you pronounce that? Atalari? Atalari? Yeah. Yeah, World War I infantry are cool. I've got an idea for a diorama that deals with a couple of French Tamaya 135th scale. I'm going to build a little diorama around. At some point, that'll be up on this channel. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But we'll focus on this build first and airplane that I got next, which I'll maybe next week or the following week I'll announce what my next kit's going to be. It gives me a chance to change my mind if I want. Okay, so what do we got here? Let's just take a look. Okay, so I've got some of these parts. I don't want to rush this. Okay, I got a C2. So I was wondering where that one went because I saw that. Let's go ahead and put that on. And we're getting close to the end of our hour here, guys, and I don't want to go over. I appreciate you taking time to be here live. I'm really trying to be disciplined and go no longer than an hour. So let's put this bit on, and then we can wrap it up. But so I'm looking forward on both your channels to see some more builds, guys. And let's encourage each other to kind of go to that next level with this hobby. Let's take a quick look where this is going to go. Again, I didn't punch the holes out, but it looks like it's just going to go right about there, which will work for me. We'll use our trick. Yeah. Flip it over. There we go. Let's get the blade in there. See if I can pick this up and keep it. Oh, that'll work. Just stick it right in like so. Okay, let me just check the diagram. It wants it. Yeah, and it's come up over the top. So, which I would imagine it would do. So, what's going to actually, I'm going to do this a second time. So since I didn't drill the hole, there's actually a nub on the back side. So if I don't file this nub down, that's not going to sit very flat. Okay, that's a challenge. Yeah, there we go. Okay, nub gone. Let's put a little more glue on there and then go ahead and get that put in right there. Flip it over. There we go. Let's go ahead and stick it like such. Okay, now we just got to push that over a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I think that's not quite placed where it needs to be. I need to bring it over a little bit more. So let's manhandle it as much. There we go. Nice. I think we can live with that. Okay, guys. So there's still some more fiddly stuff to do here on the turret. We got a big chunk of it done, though, which makes me happy. And we're right on an hour. So I am going to end the stream here tonight. Again, thanks everybody for showing up. I appreciate it. If you haven't, and you're watching this later, or if you happen to be here now and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate a subscription. I'm building the second channel to do basically these models because I just love doing models. And it's always, I appreciate you taking time to check out what I do. Just check some final notes. Without a doubt, hang out. I'm glad, Nagao. We gotta feed off each other, my friend. We gotta feed off each other. Alrighty, guys. I will talk to you in the next one. Goodbye for now.